joining us now via Skype is the 2017 Bassmaster Classic champion, Jordan Lee.
Woo! What's up?
How you doing, Jordan?
I'm doing good. How are y'all doing?
Good to see you. Take us through that last day, because some special stuff happened on that last day.
It really did. So I'm running to the third day of the tournament, last day of the Classic, running in my first spot, and something in my motor just wasn't right. I was going, 66, all of a sudden, or whatever I was going, 68, then it was going 65, 64, 63, 60. And I'm looking back at my motor, and it's sputtering. Something's not right. And so I was just like, just get me there. Just get me to that spot. And it was going 58, 55. Oh. People are passing me, and that's the last thing you want, is motor trouble. Yeah. And I'm running there, and it just keeps going. It just, it keeps. I kept going, and I had several more miles to go. It happened pretty close to blast off, and so I just hammered down, and it kept going. I got to the bridge, and when I got to the bridge, you had to idle under it, and I couldn't get back on pad. But the spot was just under, just north of the bridge. So I had it hammered down. I was going like 10 miles an hour. And when I got there, there's a duck boat sitting on the point, loudest motor you can imagine. And I'm like, this is good. This is good.
Boats broke down. Got a duck boat on my point.
This is good.
So I was like, well, it only can go up from here. I asked the guys, if I could fish there. I was like, just one more day, and they kind of thought about it, and they cranked up, and it was about as loud as you think it would be. And wah, they leave, and so I'm sitting there, and I'm like, well, I'm fishing here all day. I wanted to, but
so weird.
Whether I get a bite or not, I'm like, well, this is where I'm going to be. So, 30 minutes go by, I don't have a fish, and I finally catch a keeper, probably a 3-pounder cranking, and I was like, well, that's a start. But that whole day, it wasn't bam, 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 and that's probably something that I would have. Like if it was the first day of the tournament, I think if I had my motor, I would have left. Just because it wasn't, nothing was happening. And all of a sudden, an hour goes by and I catch a 5-pounder. And another hour goes by, I catch a 5-pounder. And it was real slow. But when I got those first couple big bites, I knew that I was just going to have to grind it out. Yeah. And it's something like you said. I mean, I think the good Lord, he was definitely watching over me, and I think there was a reason I broke down. Yeah, and it was just one of those magical days.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, a lot of big wins from guys, a lot of classic wins over the years have been similar stories. Not all exactly like this, but something happened during the course of the day that altered what you would have done, and then you end up winning. I mean, even if you're not religious, you gotta believe there's something at play there. You know what I mean? Like, it just blows me away.
Could be that the motor died and made him fish a really good spot the fish moved in and out of.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways you could look at it.
Yeah. It eliminated, like you said, if it was on day one, he'd probably start cranked up and left.
Right.
But it eliminates that option.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and like, I'd fished the whole lake pretty much, and that was the best thing that I found. And, I think that probably could have happened. I don't know if it would have happened on different places throughout the lake, but it just shows you, that you may just have to slow down.
Do you think this win came too early in your career?
That's a good question. I don't feel like it's any bad time to win the Classic. You don't. This
no
could
kidding.
That could have been my only shot. So I don't think it's definitely a bad time. Financially or just. Starting. I'm pretty much starting my career. Third year in, and it helps out on a ton of different levels. Regardless what it is. But it's definitely early. But I may not get another shot. That's the crazy thing about it. You look at like Gary Klein. He's fished 30 classics and not won one. And there's only been a handful of guys to win 2, I think. So, the chances are, that may have been my only shot at it.
Sorry for pointing that out, Gary. So
that just shows you just how hard it is. It's nothing to, against him. He's a crazy good angler, but it's hard to make it there, and to win it is just even harder. So you just don't know how many shots you're going to get.
Yeah.
So you're not going to retire?
No, not yet. I was thinking maybe another year or 2.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. Well, again, I was asked that same question, and you're right. I don't think when you win, you take the win, whether it's early, halfway through your career, at the end of your career. It's an amazing thing, and there's not that many dudes walking the face of the earth that can say they're a Classic champ. It's a pretty special thing.
It is a special thing. It just doesn't come around, and it's getting harder and harder to make the Classic every year. And hopefully, you're in it the next year and the next year, but you just don't know. And to win it this early is just I'm not gonna say it doesn't make your career, but it definitely goes a long ways.
Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you had a good time watching and learned a little bit. Please, while you're here, subscribe to my channel by clicking on that button right there. And for the latest video with fish catching excitement, click on that button right there. Come on, let's go.